Hey, and welcome back. This is Pamela with Pamela's Tarot Tales, and we're doing hashtag 31 Days of Darrow 19. And today's prompt is for day 13. I'm outside. It's a beautiful day, and I just wanted to share that with you guys first off, because it's amazing. And the prompt for today is from the major arcana cards. What card correlates to the sun, the moon, and your rising sign? So what corresponds astrologically to our sun, moon, and rising sun? And how has that played out in my life? This is a really interesting question. And it's one that I haven't really contemplated too much before these prompts came out. So this is good to get me thinking in a different way. I'm going to turn the camera down and I'm going to show you guys what my cards are and talk about them and kind of talk about how that put into my life. So hang on. Okay, so my sun sign is Aquarius. And the card that is associated with Aquarius is the Star card. So the Star card for me is really about hope. And I guess in relationship to me and how my life is I'm a dreamer. And I really enjoy thinking and hoping and wishing and putting forth ideas. And it's an air sign. And actually, you'll find out I'm a triple air. So it makes it really interesting and challenging. But for me, this is about hope. And this is about being optimistic and hopeful and allowing for that. To me, with the element of water, that relates to emotions, with her pouring the in and out, and is she watering the earth? Is she helping? It's grounding it, but it's also putting it into the kind of that emotional perspective, that feeling space. And as an Aquarius, I'm an empath, and I'm very much in that feeling space. And but it's also in the mental space, the air side of it. So I feel like with the star, and this person, she is the star. She has come from the star. She has come from above and coming down into earth and down into that watery realm and down into those other elements. And she can be all of those things and interact with all of those things. And but still be of the mental space, still be of the knowledge space, still be of the but approaching it from different aspects. So I really do enjoy these cards. This is the textured tarot, and this is La Corte Dei Tarocchi. All right, so my next card is my rising sign, and I'm hoping you can still see these. Which is Libra. And Libra is associated with justice. So this is interesting for me. I really had to think about, because I don't know much about astrology particularly. I'm interested in it, and I find it really intriguing, and it's something I kind of happily glance at. But justice is really that being fair and seeing all sides of things, and being clear and decisive. And I'm not very decisive, being a triple air sign. But I think what it does for me is, because I'm indecisive, because the reason I'm indecisive is because I do see so many sides of every story. And it that makes it difficult for me to make a decision. It takes me forever. But when I do finally make that decision, I feel clear about it, and I feel like it's the right one, and I feel like it's done from the right place of mind and heart, and balancing those two and trying to not necessarily do it from a playing favorites or biased way. I try not to let that, other things influence me. I mean, we're human, and of course they do, but I also think that justice is about truth and fairness, and I think that's really important to me. When I was a kid, it was really hard for me because I see so much unfairness, or what I felt was unfair. But as I've gotten older, I try to learn and be open to the fact that, who am I to determine what I think is fair? Perhaps there's a bigger perspective, a bigger reason, and maybe that's what that person needs. And so, yeah. But it's still something that nags at me. But I do seek balance. I try to seek balance in how I act and speak and function and interact. And I think that justice does have an element of that. Yeah. So anyway, the next one, the moon sign. I'm just going to move these around here for a second. All right. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So the next one in my moon sign is the Lover's card. And when I think of our moon signs, so I'm a Gemini, and for my moon sign, which is also an air sign, so I'm a triple air sign. But it's interesting to think about this particular aspect because, when we think of elements of the moon, more mystery, more shadow, more things that we don't face as clearly or as easily, or and when we think of the Lover's card, there's a couple ways to think of the Lover's card. One of which is choices, which is more Marseille style and tradition, and that resonates more with me. But I'm wondering if it's partly because of this Moon Gemini energy. It's interesting to think about this because I am indecisive for the most part. I mean, I can make decisions, and I do eventually, but oftentimes it's very difficult. So, which plays in with, the other cards. But if you think of the Lover's card in the element of relationships and love, and for me, I tend to think of it more as choices, but I also think that it's an element of relationships as well. So that is, I mean, I'm good with friendships and I'm good with things like that, but when it comes to romantic relationships, it's something that has not been in the forefront of my existence, in the forefront of my focus in this lifetime. Of course, it's something that I think about, and of course, it's something that I want, but it has definitely been something that I have pushed more to the back burner. And so but I find that I'm a very caring and loving person. I find that I give wholeheartedly, but on the flip side of that, I get hurt so deeply that it does kind of feel like that polarization that happens with Geminis, that flip of the switch. And so that tends to especially show up in the area of romance and love. So yeah, that's really interesting, and it's kind of hard to talk about. Anyway, I love these cards. I love how they're looking together. I love how, you know, they are triple air signs, which makes things difficult, which does make decisions, because I am a dreamer. I am hopeful, and I am, you know, even though it's on my shadow side, I am a hopeless romantic, and and I dream about all that area as well. And so I think there's so much more I could go into with this, but I'd have to do a lot more contemplation and writing, which I probably will. But I think that's a pretty good start. I think this is an interesting prompt. I want to thank Nya for putting that forth, and I want to thank Ethany Dawn for this challenge, as always. So if you have anything, or if you have any knowledge about this, or any thoughts or comments, please do put them below. I'm so curious. I'm really, really so curious. I think it would be interesting to have someone else who knows me or doesn't know me put forth those qualities, because even if you, especially if you don't know me, because then I can have an unbiased information that I can then see how it applies to me, see how it comes forth in my life, see what does that mean. And if I look at these cards intuitively and just reading the imagery, this Justice card, she's pretty sharp. She's got her sword of truth and her scales of justice, and she is like, but she's at this odd angle, and but she takes ownership of that. It's very clear cut. Once it comes into the mental space, you know, the bottom half seems a little bit flowy, a little bit more ephemeral in some ways. And that relating to this star card is that more dreamer, that more hopeful, that more wishing. And yeah, I think this is cool. All right, so I'm going to end it there. I want to thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe below, and do comment. I'm genuinely interested. Thank you, and have a great day.